Hello, everyone. My name is Eric, and today I want to rant about something that really bugs the hell out of me. It is when people my age, especially people my age, who always say to me, "Boy, I wish we were back in the 50s and 60s." And some even say the 70s. And then they say to me, "Don't you?" I should ask me, "Don't you?" No, I don't want to go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I'm going to tell you why. Welcome to the craziness that lives inside my head. First of all, the guys my age that says to me that they wish they were back in the 50s and 60s, and those who said in the 70s, oh, it was a better time, it was this, you know. I had some even said if I know now what I know back then and all like this, and I listened to these friends of mine, and then I get a flash in my head. I said, "Oh, these friends who wants to go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s were Caucasians or white." And then I had to think about it. Have I ever black friend of mine ever says they want that? Once in a while, blacks would say that, and it has not. I mean, things were cheaper black back then, but it's all how you say relevant with inflation and stuff. So, but I thought about it, and a friend of mine, a Caucasian friend of mine, couldn't believe that I did not want to go back, being that we were what 70, and you like what's going on today, and you this and that, and I'm like, well, nothing's changed. I mean, nothing's really changed. I was born during the Korean War. I was in high school during the Vietnam War. I was working on Wall Street during the Desert Storm War. And things has changed. I mean, yeah, we went from blues from the 50s and rock from in the 60s to disco in the 70s, and then when the 80s came, that's when we had rap music, and that's when that kind of lost me. um, I've always was into dance music. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm happy when music wise. Nothing. I mean, I like the music today of 2022. Um, I have friends who, if I call them up, they'll say, "What are you doing?" And I say, "Well, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm watching Hogan's Heroes." That old thing. I'll call another friend. They say, "What are you doing?" I say, "I'm listening to BPM." "What's BPM?" "Oh, it's a music station for dance electronic music." "Oh, you don't listen to the disco stations?" "No, that's old music." I mean, every time I turn on a disco station, all they do is play the same old music, what they call popular disco back in the 70s. And I got tired hearing it in the 70s. I don't want to hear it in the 2022s. Anyway, but what I'm getting at is growth, I guess. And I'm like, my grandmother said something to me very interesting when she was alive. Somebody told her, ask her about, don't you miss the good old days? And my grandmother would say, no, I don't miss the good old days. She goes, I like Walmart. She said, in the good old days, you got to cut your wood, you got to go hunt, you got to, because she had a little farm, she grew up on a farm, you got to grow food, you got to do, and she said she didn't like that. She likes going to Walmart. And that's how I feel. I mean, what's what was so great? especially being black, about the 50s, 60s, and 70s, other than nostalgic. I get nostalgic about it. Oh, I remember this year. Then that's it. And then I'm back to 2022. Then I'm back doing the things what I'm doing today. But I notice a lot of my friends, I'm going to say Caucasian friends. I don't notice too much about my black friends saying this, but I know a lot of my Caucasian friends, they look at too much television, too much news, and they listen to too much crap. And I be telling them, turn the damn news off and get off of Facebook and get off of all those things and try to meditate and think of what's going on now, the good stuff, to calm you down. Because then they go off, they get this political, they get very political. Oh, this is that, and then I have to remind them. I said, and what's so different about the politics of today that's different from the politics of the '70s? I mean, we all heard about Tricky Dick, I mean, and all other things. A president got assassinated. I mean, so why would what's the big deal about wanting to go back in time, living in those times? I don't know. And I always thought maybe it has to do with age. Each generation think that their generation had a better deal than than the next generation. I mean, I think when I was coming up, I think my grandmother and her generation did thought that their generation had a better, And I want to take that back because no, she didn't, because she grew up and my mom grew up during the Depression. No, no, that's another reason why my grandma probably said she didn't care too much for the good old days. No, and as a black person, well, it was a struggle. It was a struggle back in the 50s and 60s. When I was growing up in the 60s, there was a lot of rioting, there was a lot of killing, a lot of disorder, even into the 70s. It was a lot of, you know, the thing that I did like about the 70s to take my mind off all the crap that was going on in the 70s was the disco. And maybe that was, I was talking to a friend about that. Maybe that was the only time that I can honestly say that I went to a disco a lot of times. Now, this is not all the time. Don't take it out of content. But there was a lot of discos. You go to a disco and you will find gay, straight, white, black, dancing, partying, having a good time in a disco. Now, I'm not saying all disco, because I think I even said this back in a podcast when they're talking about being the gay community in the 70s. Well, the gay community in the 70s it was no different than the straight community, what was going on at the time. You did have prejudiceness within the gay community against black people. You did have that. Christopher Street, if you went down Christopher Street in the early 70s, I think the only thing you saw were white people. You didn't see too many blacks. Now, as it went on, you did see more blacks. But anyway, you said now you want to know, well, what's the rant? The rant is guys my age, be it white, gay, straight, whatever. There are some guys my age who, for me, getting old, making themselves old, when they keep looking at these old TV shows and keep saying, "Oh, it was so great to be in the '60s and the '70s," and they yearn to be back there. And then I mean, they're not living. I have a friend who was bored. He's been retired. I mean, of course you're bored. You sit home and look at Hogan's Heroes and the Beverly Hillbillies, and in the year 2022, I mean, I don't even watch TV. And that's the other thing. They say, well, there's so much crap on TV. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't think too highly of Beverly Hillbillies and Hogan's Heroes. I mean, I watched it because my grandmother watched it. And then the TV station that I did like, that one that played Archie Bunker, because that was a breath of fresh air even though they had him down as a racist. And then when the Jeffersons first started, that was a breath of fresh air. And then when not happy day, well, happy days, you had good times. That was a breath of fresh air. But after a while, I got bored with it because all those stations was you know how sitcoms are. They try to keep up with what was going on at the time. And it kind of like I just got. I mean, they handle it like even now. I'm quite sure this TV shows of today is trying to keep up with what's going on in the 2022s. But anyway, the same thing happened back there. But I got bored with it. A lot of these stations when they first came on TV in the 70s, like I said, was a breath of fresh air. Then after a while, to me, they get stale, and I got bored with it. If you want to know the truth, in the 70s, like I didn't watch what's Saturday Night Live. I saw all Saturday Night Live in reruns because Saturday nights my butt was at the disco shaking my booty, and I didn't get home till like Sunday morning, maybe Monday morning. Depends how great everything is. No, that's it. That's my rant. My rant is to these 70-year-old people who you're making yourself old by keep looking at these old TV shows. Okay, it's okay, as I say, it's okay to look, but you don't have to stare. It's okay to like I get nostalgic sometimes. Then I get bored. I would say, oh, I want to see Star Trek is my favorite show. I'll say, oh, I want to see a Star Trek show. Okay, you turn the TV on. I look at maybe the first 15 minutes of it. Then I get bored because I already know what's going to happen. And I'm saying, why am I watching this for? I've seen it 1,000 times. Okay, 70-year-olds, get up off your ass and start living in today. Get involved what's going on today. I love dance music and electronic music. I want to, and after when this COVID thing is over, I'm going back to the gym. I'm trying to live in today. Thank you. You just heard the craziness that lives inside my head.